The Atlantic hit piece on Donald Trump. Well, first, if you look at The Atlantic, it's given a good rating as far as news goes, as if it's expected to be reliable and trusted, while the Fox is given a less reliable rating and is portrayed as being as less reliable than The Atlantic. Well, let's have a look. The Atlantic claimed that Trump lied about his reasons for not going to the, what is that called? Ain Marne American Cemetery near Paris in 2018. They claimed anonymous sources, something like 4 of them. Fox News says they have 2 sources contradicting what The Atlantic claims. I'll link the article underneath. The Atlantic accused Trump of calling the soldiers losers and suckers. Once again, Fox comes in and writes, both sources said that Trump was upset about not being able to go to Ain Marne and said they had never heard Trump refer to war dead at Ain Marne or in the Battle of Belleau Wood as losers or suckers. It's in the same article by Fox. So now we have sources quoted by Fox, anonymous ones, contradicting Atlantic sources, which is right. Well, let's check the potential bias for The Atlantic. Laurene Powell Jobs is a majority owner in The Atlantic. She has also donated $1.2 million to Biden and Democratic candidates. See the Daily Caller article. I would say this indicates a concern for bias against Trump and in favor of Biden. So certainly The Atlantic probably has more bias than the original bias rating gives. And in fact, if you look at the Fox article I linked, it is far more neutral than the Atlantic article. There are actually some bad things in there in addition to the good things. Now, Joey Vasquez of the Media Research Center posted in a tweet, just your friendly reminder that the Atlantic majority stake owner, Laurene Powell, has given $610,600 to Joe Biden Victory Fund, to the Joe Biden Victory Fund in June, and the maximum allowed $2,800 to his personal campaign. She has an invested interest in seeing real Donald Trump lose in November. So once again, The Atlantic, I do not think they're neutral here at all, considering their owner. Now, Jason Leopold of BuzzFeed tweeted they have a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act document, that they had gotten released from the government, probably redacted, right? So that some of the stuff would be crossed off on there. But the document says about Trump's 2018 trip to Ain Marne American Cemetery near Paris, and the documents say his transport was canceled by the Navy due to rain. In fact, Rob Crilly of the Washington Examiner has tweeted a redacted email also saying the weather was an issue. So now we have anonymous sources and we have multiple documents contradicting the Atlantic's article. Now, Jordan Karem is probably no less biased than the Atlantic hit piece sources were, but he is publicly on the record in a tweet saying, again, this is 100% false. I was next to POTUS the whole day. The president was greatly disappointed when told we couldn't fly there. he was incredibly eager to honor our fallen heroes. On the Record and Public is far more authoritative than the Atlantic's cloak and dagger anonymous sources. Now, Jordan Karem is not alone. Sarah Sanders also says she was with Trump. Sarah Sanders tweeted, quote, "The Atlantic story on Donald Trump is total BS. I was actually there and one of the people part of the discussion. This never happened. I have sat in the room when our president called family members after their sons were killed in action, and it was heart-wrenching." Hey, Sarah Sanders is probably as biased as the Atlantic's anonymous sources also, but she's public and on the record. Once again, the Atlantic is outsourced. How many times do I have to do this before you'll believe how the Atlantic is just another fake news, left-wing, liberal Democrat propaganda outlet? Maybe documents, Jordan Karem, Sarah Sanders aren't enough for you. How about Dan Scavino, who tweeted, "I was with POTUS in France, with Sarah, and have been at his side through it all." Complete lies by anonymous sources that were dropped just as he begins to campaign and surge. A disgraceful attempt to smear POTUS 60 days before the presidential election. Disgusting. That's right, folks. The Atlantic is disgusting, according to Dan Scavino. Sure, these people are probably no less biased than the Atlantic hit piece's anonymous sources. But they are public, on the record, and backed by documents. But John Bolton said to another rag that likes to release propaganda called the New York Times that they use anonymous sources the same way, publicly, on the record, and not for Trump at all. Bolton says, "I didn't hear that." Mr. Bolton said in an interview, "I'm not saying he didn't say them later in the day or another time, but I was there for that discussion." I'll link the article he's quoted in the comments. Also, Bolton's book has a story on the reasons for canceling. This was published before this article was released, and it was shared by Byron York on Twitter, again contradicting the Atlantic's article, the Atlantic's hit piece article. So now we have multiple public testimonies, documents, and Bolton who doesn't like Trump. At this point, you should be rejecting the Atlantic's article as questionable left liberal Democrat propaganda aimed at influencing the 2020 election. After all, this event happened almost 2 years ago. Trump gets hate news every day. Why haven't they published this yet? Why did they wait until the election if this isn't made up? Thank you.